Rightly so, we are your election command center. I want to take you right now to an event currently being undertaken by the National Disaster Management Organization, an election simulation exercise for eventual happenings on election day. My colleague Joseph Armstrong Godalogbe is there for us. We get the indication that this particular simulation exercise has been undertaken in other parts of the country, but we'll start here in the capital, where Armstrong has been participating and seeing exactly what the plan of NADMO is in the case of eventualities and then a possible human rights crisis situation. Armstrong will join us shortly. Let's go to him right now for a bit of details. Armstrong, talk to us exactly what's been happening. What's the focus of this simulation exercise? Armstrong, there's a difficulty in being able to hear you. I'm just hoping if you could reposition for us and then try to help us understand what the focus of this simulation exercise is. Right, it does appear there's a bit of a difficulty with hearing Armstrong clearly, but like I mentioned, this is an exercise that's been undertaken in different parts of the country. But let's hear from one of the NADMO officials who's been speaking to my colleague Joseph Armstrong Godalogbe.
Okay, so this is election simulation exercise with our partners, Interagency Working Group for Emergencies and other first line respondents that we work with. Elections normally doesn't concern NADMO that much, but election violence results into humanitarian crisis, and that's where we come in. So we are only simulating a situation where there's elections going on, and as a result of the elections there is violence, and all the humanitarian crisis issues come in, issues of displacement, issues of injured people, issues of people being shot at, incidents of houses being burnt. How are we going to respond to this effectively so that we bring down to the barest minimum the loss of lives and the loss to property? So this is what we are simulating for the 2024 elections, to get all the agencies ready so that in the event that there's a situation, we will be able to contain the situation.
Okay, so you sit in here, let's say for instance a place in Ablekuma Central, if there's violence there, do you signal and deploy, or deployment is not done by you?
Well, that is not done by us. We are coordinating agencies, so we have the police, the ambulance service, the fire service, and we have their heads also represented at the EOC. So they will take their marching orders from their heads if they need to respond to something that is within their area of work.
We'll leave it here. Any other thing you want to add?
No, just to say that this is simulation. We only hope that the 2024 elections will be conducted in a peaceful manner. But we have to always be ready as a country so that all response agencies will be ready, working towards we having a peaceful elections.
That's an NADMO official. Let's try one more time, this time via Zoom, and engage Joseph Armstrong Godalogbe and get exactly what really is happening. Armstrong, an interagency collaborative work which has been undertaken. What can you report based off on the conversations and all that's been happening so far?
Well, I'm currently here at the NADMO headquarters, where you can see some soldiers. We have people from the police service, also NADMO officials, immigration service personnel, and then also that of the fire service have all been gathered here in what they call a pre-section, a pre-election section, to see how they'll be able to collate what is happening across the country. Where we sit in the NADMO head office, and they are able to communicate with people in the northern part of the country, people from central region, and also some in the Ashanti region. Across the country, they are able to see all that is happening on the day of election. So exactly what is happening here now, so that in case they see any happenings, they can quickly deploy or alert the security agencies in charge of that, so they can quickly rush in there to solve the situation.
And we know obviously the full disclosures of the plan will not be laid out in the open, but do we know all the agencies who are a part of this response group and who will be expecting to see come into action on election day?
So currently I can see soldiers. I can see that of the police service, police hierarchy. I can see people from the fire service personnel, that of the immigration and also prison officers and other sister security agencies that have all been assembled here earlier, and they are currently monitoring all that is happening across the country. So if the issue concerns the police hierarchy among the group is told, and then he informs their mother units, and if it concerns the military, where the military needs to move in, the military among the group here is informed, and he relayed the information to the military hierarchy. So basically, that is what is happening here now, and this, we are told, is not just taking place in Accra here, and there will be subsequent other simulation exercises that will be taking place before the December 7th general elections. Marina.
And just lastly, what is of specific interest for them based off on what you've seen from this simulation exercise?
Marina, I'm told it's not the very first time this simulation exercise is taking place ahead of a general election. It happens almost every year, but the public seems not to be aware of it. So the interest, as it stands now, is to be able to sit at the comforts of the NADMO headquarters here, where they are able to tell what is happening at Ashaman, a hotspot in Ashaman or a hotspot in Ablekuma Central, so that if someone is carrying an offensive weapon which he's not supposed to be carrying, they can monitor it from where they sit in the comfort of their offices, because they have cameras scattered across the country, and also they have intelligence moving around, so they're able to pick information and inform the officers here, and then quickly they deploy to ensure that it does not get out of hand. Marina.
Right there, Armstrong. Many thanks for all those details. That's my colleague Joseph Armstrong Goldalogbe from the headquarters of the National Disaster Management, where an election simulation exercise is currently being undertaken. This is your Election Command Center. And some news that's just coming through. The Affirmative Action Bill, which was passed, has been assented to by the President. It's a bill that's been hailed and praised largely by a lot of the rights groups in the country, that it will afford women the opportunity to be able to actively participate in the country's politics. A long-standing bill which has been in Parliament for at least 20 years, finally passed by Parliament, now assented to by the President. Let's just try and walk you through this afternoon what the element of this bill is as we have it now as law. And amongst many other things, government is required to set progressive targets for achievement of gender equity. Also, the establishment of a gender equity committee to ensure and monitor compliance with the law. The government is required as well to ensure progressive gender balance in public office governance and decision making. A bit more. Affected positions will include ministerial positions, the Council of State, independent constitutional bodies, security agencies, the judiciary, Parliament. Also, political parties are required to ensure progressive achievement of gender equity targets, and the Electoral Commission is to ensure that parties comply in respect of positions at national, regional, and district levels as well in relation to the passage of this affirmative action. Now we can call it law because the President, as we get it, has assented to the affirmative action bill as the latest coming through at this particular juncture. The last of it will be that private sector employers are required to ensure progressive achievement of gender equity targets. We know that a lot of the women advocates have been making the argument strongly about the fact that a lot more needs to be done with respect to the targets as identified in this law that has been assented to by the President. I'm sure there'll be a lot more conversations in relation to that, but we can now bring you Regional Hub.
24,000. That's the number of cancer cases recorded annually, partly due to the activities of illegal mining and its harmful effects. The latest, according to the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, forms a part of a basis in demanding the immediate suspension of illegal mining in all its form to safeguard lives and protect critical national installations. According to staff of the CSIR, over 50,000 hectares of forest is lost annually to the activities of illegal small-scale mining. I want to show you a bit more from that revelation from this research body. We know that based on what the staff have shared on Galamsey, some of the findings include over 50,000 hectares of land or forest that has been lost annually for a while now. Over 60% of water bodies in mining areas suffer from contamination due to illegal mining activities, and activities of Galamsey operations contribute to environmental factors that lead to Ghana recording over 24,000 cancer cases annually. Now, mercury levels around 102 grams per litre reported in blood samples of residents living in Galamsey affected areas. Public health crises, also caused by heavy metal poisoning and water pollution, are straining Ghana's overburdened healthcare system. Just a bit more on what they're demanding from the government and from the people of Ghana: immediate suspension of all illegal small-scale mining activities in the country, immediate recall of Parliament to repeal the Environmental Protection Mining and Forest Reserves Regulation 2022 LI 2462, and restoration of degraded lands and water bodies. Away from that, the Pharmacy Technicians Association of Ghana has revealed a growing trend of patients' resistance to medications as a result of polluted water by illegal mining activities. According to PTAG, the consequences is dire and very devastating, hence the need for government to heed the call from well-meaning Ghanaians to check the canker. We'll now head to the Central Region and speak to our correspondent Thomas Khan for a bit more on this story. Thomas, we've got to a stage where patients are building resistance to drugs due to Galamsey. That's what you report. But tell us how, PTAC thinks the situation is dire.
Well, according to PTAC, the situation is really dire because of the Galamsey issues and other factors. Even the existing medications that people do know, for instance, antibiotics and other normal medications that in the past people have been using to treat some ailments, have been proven to give some kind of reaction that people are proving some kind of, and they are not really given the kind of medications that they are supposed to be getting, so that they can give the treatment to their bodies. And this is due to the hard metals that get into the water bodies and other environmental spaces due to this Galamsey activities. And they are claiming that these cyanides and then other hard chemicals are really destroying the water bodies, which is also affecting some of even the food and the crops that are even on the market that people are consuming.
Very well, Thomas. We know there have been calls as well for banning of fake medications. But before you even tell us about that, talk to us about, how widespread PTAC says the situation is.
Well, they say it is widespread, and that is why they have also added their voices to, or the numerous calls on government to try and ban all forms of mining in the country. And they are claiming that this is not just one particular place of the mining places where illegal activities are going on, but all over. And they think that when it comes to diseases, it doesn't know who is involved. So very important that government, as soon as possible, take steps to ban all forms of mining to check this menace.
Very well, let's take a listen to the president of PTAG.
We've seen a lot of serious diseases that are coming, that are emerging, that are coming up. And it is all as a result of the fact that we have allowed our waters to be polluted by this Galamsey menace. And to tell you what, the medications that these are supposed to be given to patients who are sick, these Galamsey menace, because of it, patients are becoming resistant to it. And this is serious. Can you imagine you are sick and then doctor prescribe a medication where because of somebody's recklessness in doing Galamsey in our water bodies, you have become resistant and then the medicines that are given is not able to treat you. Can you imagine the cost of healthcare in Ghana, all of them going up because of all?
Thomas, we also know that you spoke to a clinician who doubles as, one of the traditional authorities there. What did she tell you?
About this growing trend, and then she is more worried that because of this growing trend, a lot of the quacks who roam around in the communities posing as pharmacy technicians or drug administrators selling fake medications to people. And this is one thing that she thinks that government needs to also do more to strengthen authorities who have the mandate to check some of these quack people who roam into the communities to sell fake drugs to people, especially people who do not have knowledge about some of these ailments, and they go about.
Very well. Thomas, how about we take a listen to the clinician now?
All of us will educate the community to be more mindful about the people going from door to door and selling fake medication. In fact, it upsets me sometimes. You have people selling herbal medicine. I don't say herbal medicine is bad. It's not. Because when we were young, our grandparents and all that, that's what they used. But you have the herbal medicine, you have fake medicine. If somebody is sick, the person needs help. They don't need you to deceive them, to take the peswa or the 1 cedi that they have from them and tell them that they are going to be well. You know that it's not true. So, and I'm talking to the community too. If you don't feel well, go to your clinic, seek help.
Well, Thomas, we'll leave you here. Thank you so much for talking to us.
All right.
From the central region, we'll take you to the Ashanti region, where Galamsey at the Akrokre in the Adanse North district of the region say, though their mining activity is not licensed, it does not cause destruction to water bodies in northern forests. They claim lack of job opportunities for the youth in the area is the reason for the thriving mining activities there. The youth, however, refuted allegations that the Queen Mother of the area is involved in the Galamsey activities.
There is no river in Akokere that flows that the Galamsey activities has destroyed. Never. We have never destroyed any forest in Akokere. Yes. Now let me tell you, where we are digging or where we are finding our livelihood is an old site that our forefathers were mining. Yes. It's not that we started it. It is an old site that is there. And we, the youth, we saw that we are very hungry. And then we have to find a solution to our problem. And that's the reason why we took the bull by the horn and went there to mine. When it is breaking day, come to the site and see the old men and old women that come there to get what they will feed for the following week. Do we call this as something bad? Me, and I'm asking you, we have not destroyed anything. We are citizens of Akokere. We have miners in this town. Nananum invited these so-called miners to her palace so that we will negotiate with them so that the youth of this country or this village will have something to eat.
Youth in the Akokere Township. Ibrahim Abubakar is on this beat for us, has joined us via Zoom. Ibrahim, how different is this area from the others where we've told the stories about the impact of such mining activities?
Well, Mauna, so when you go to Akokere, the way they do their Galamsey, like you said, is quite different from what we have been reporting on. So they dig a hole and it goes down. So they mine in the, so you wouldn't see them destroying large tracts of farms or lands or even water bodies. So they do, this is like kind of underground mining. So they go there, they bring in all the stones, they wash it there and extract the gold that they are searching for. So they are saying that most of them said it is not intentional that they have to do this illegal activity, but because there are no jobs in the area. So even though there has been sustained calls to place a ban on even small scale, all form of small scale mining, and they believe that it will not work until government bring out strategy to create more jobs for the youth. So they are more concerned about the destruction of water bodies and also farmlands. And they believe that if even all the illegal miners will do it the way they are doing, then at least we will reduce this form of this form of destruction across the country.
And what's forced them into coming out with this news conference? Has any of the regional security task force visited the area? We know that the member of parliament for the area had spoken earlier this week about the activities of illegal mining within his constituency. Is this what has prompted them to come forward with this explanation?
Well, so two things. One, because of the sustained calls on the need to place ban on all forms of small-scale mining activities, which they show, when implemented, will deprive about 60% of them from their main source of livelihood. And two, also, they were fighting for their traditional authorities. They were saying there has been a series of allegations against their friend mother that she is directly involved in illegal mining, and they wanted to clear that. In fact, they said she was even trying to speak to 2 mining companies that are currently operating within the enclave, just so they will employ the youth there and bring or minimize the activities of illegal mining there. But they have not done that. So that is it. One, just so there will be job opportunities for them in case government goes ahead and place a ban on this mining activity. They will still find something, and also to clear their queen mother on that allegation.
Right then, Ibrahim, many thanks for those details and explanations. Ibrahim Abubakar is my colleague in the Ashanti region. He visited the Akokere Township, and mentioning of the traditional authorities in the area, the president of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiahowoya Ojebi, has been speaking in relation to the activities of illegal mining and made the argument strongly that it should not be banned. Here's what he's been saying.
You all know I hate Galamsey. I fight against it. It, however, does not mean that you shouldn't mine. We own the gold. There are good ways of mining. If you make an application, you'll be taught how to correctly mine. Those calling for state of emergency, a ban on mining, are not considering its impact. It will have dire consequences. People can lose their jobs. Do you know how much money we'll lose? We rather need to find effective ways of mining.
State of emergency, mining, I say, see, you know mine. You can't know, young Cora Cacana, where you know, you bet you on Eddie. Nemum, I was say, your pepper and papa so near the regularity illegal mining. No, Mina, a bay mining a fata, and only everywhere, and to mines an idea, your bay, no, yes, yeah, woman and papa and passport.
That's the president of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiahoho Yao-Jibi. He will take us on to our very first break here on News Central. When we return, a bit more between that impasse involving the NDC and the Electoral Commission. Former Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has been speaking in that regard. We'll hear exactly what he's been saying. Stay.
You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, superior. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets